So let's talk about a little bit about the ideas surrounding diversity, and I think this is a really great launching point for that, Derek. As you're looking at the Wicked commercial and seeing yourself up there, it's a starring role as Fiyero, and you're the first African American man to play that role. What is the weight of that as an actor? What is special about that?
You know, I didn't put it together how big it was when the moment was happening. I knew I could do it. Wayne Salento, when I got the job, when I was, because I started out as a swing in the show.
That's right.
And I remember me walking in, and the first thing Wayne said, because I got hired late. You guys were rehearsing, because Ben and I did this together. We originated. We were an original company of Wicked.
Thanks for pointing that out.
And so Ben and them, everyone started about 4 weeks before I did. And I got hired late because I think Tice left and they moved somebody up and I became the swing. I think that's how it worked. And as soon as I walked in the room, Wayne being Wayne, was like, this is the guy who should be playing Fiyero. But, I'm sorry, I just got hired. But thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And but I went to Joe one day and I went up to him and said, we were in San Francisco doing
Joe who?
Joe Montello.
That's the one.
He's amazing, by the way. We were doing the out-of-town trial and I went up to him and said, hey, I really think, and it took all of me to do this, but I was like, I really think I can do this. And he said, okay. Okay. And I was like, oh, and he was just like, we have Chris, Cusick who's covering right now, but we'll see. And I was like, all right, thanks. And I kind of walked away with my head down, meaning, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But we got back to New York and opened it up, and they gave me the cover, and that was kind of the start. And when I got hired to do the tour, I got hired right before to do Sweet Charity on Broadway, and decided to do the national tour of Wicked instead. And at the time, like I was saying, coming back around to that, I didn't realize how big it was. But I tell you what, when I was at the gym working out probably a couple years later, and this young black kid came up to me and he said, I saw you as Fiyero, and I just got to tell you, it meant the world to me. And it made me realize that I can do these other parts, and it's not just, I'm not just limited. He said it doesn't limit me. My skin color does not limit me. And I remember he saying that, and it shook me. And I think I walked away, and I don't know if I cried, but it just meant it showed me how much that moment meant to a lot of kids out there. So it was it was great. But I've also been on the other side of that as well.
Yeah.
When they brought back Grease, I can't remember which time, because it's been back a couple times, quite a few times.
It keeps coming back.
It keeps coming back.
You can't stop it.
But I was up for Kaniki. And this is the honest God truth. My agent, we were trying to figure out what was happening. I went in a couple times, and it was great. I felt like I kept doing the same thing over and over again. They loved me. So I thought anyway. But the first thing they told me, they said, after the final callback, they called my agent called me, and she said, hey, so they still love you. They're just trying to figure out what to do. They just haven't found a black Rizzo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up, I guess they didn't find one because I did not get it. And
isn't that interesting that they felt that had to have that piece of the puzzle?
Yeah, and it made, I got to say, it didn't shake me, but I was like, wow, okay. But I guess they felt like they needed to put the two people together for some reason, and it's a tricky game. I mean, I get it. To some extent, it should not matter, but for some people it does, and some people have their vision, and whatever that vision may be, and it doesn't make it right because it should not matter at all. But the fact is, it continues to come up, it continues to matter, and it really shouldn't, because I think people are gifted enough and people are open enough to just use their imagination. When people come to the theater, they come, people get it.
Suspend their disbelief.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we should be able to, in casting as well, should be able to put that aside and just hire the best person available. Yeah. But to be honest, it just, I don't know if it ever will be that way, because it's definitely not that way. And but I think people they do their best. They really do. I think I also feel like, should you force somebody to hire somebody because of the color of their skin? I mean, are we going to make this part black? See, I think that's not right either. It's like, well, this is the part that we're going to make black, or this is the part that we're going ethnic. And to me, that's just like, that's not. I don't know if that's great either.
Some of those things seem to be kind of changing and becoming a little bit more fluid. I'll turn to you, Ramin. Now, we were talking just a moment ago about you're getting visited by your sweet Iranian mother. You were saying, when you took on such iconic roles, Jean Valjean, Phantom, Raoul, what was kind of the response around that for roles that were probably very typically done by straight up white guys? Or
Well, I don't know. It's funny when we talk diversity and whatnot. I'm still trying to figure out where Iranian fits into it all. It's whether it's hindered or helped me. I don't know, and I hope it's neither. I just hope you just do what you do. And
certainly.
But it's what's great is you get a lot of Middle Eastern, because growing up, no way you're going to be an actor. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a scientist or something. And I'm like, no way. My grades don't show that.
Like, I'm the enforcer on the hockey team.
Yeah. You saw me get in the fight. You were there. So I get a lot of, Middle Eastern kids and students coming up saying how it's inspired them. And I think that's pretty amazing. Although I still don't know what to do with that responsibility. I get shy about that. But if that's having a positive effect, and great, and it's great. I feel proud, especially, being an Iranian, to be the first, probably the only Iranian to ever be the Phantom or Valjean.
Yeah.
But whether people talk about it for that reason, they don't. But, being Iranians, I don't know where the culture that fits these days.
Yeah.
Especially over here politically and stuff. It just... I remember when that ban happened, I was still in England, and the Anastasia producer was like, where was Ramin born? Iran. They were like...
Let's get back.
The lawyers are phoning up like, okay, load of paperwork came my way. Really? Take this. Lawyers will be waiting for you at departure just in case, at arrivals.
But I think the payoff really comes in hearing from these young Middle Eastern men who are going, they've never seen anything like you, that they can go, I'm like that. Maybe.
Yeah, and I get certain DMs and messages, especially people in some of those countries where, they're not allowed to sing, they're not allowed to send messages like that.
Wow.
This one who sent me singing a song, who's now, I think she's in Vancouver now, and she was like, I couldn't do this back home. And when you see that, I'm like, wow.
That's great.
Makes you realize like how lucky we are.
Yeah. How lucky we are, and the mantle of what you're doing. So I'll turn it to you, Saykon.
Yeah, I've absolutely had that similar experience.
Even starting with this idea of in Rent, people probably thought of me in a certain way based on how that was done, and also first African American woman to play Elphaba in Wicked. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was definitely a big thing for a lot of young people, because I would get the letters, the correspondence.
Did you feel it right away
that.
though when you were cast in that role? And
I'll tell you, I was in Atlanta at the time. After I had done Aida on Broadway, I'd done the tour, and then I did Aida on Broadway. I left that show and I went back to Atlanta. It's kind of like the what else, after like what he described. And I ended up doing The Color Purple there, and I got this call about auditioning for Wicked, and then there was this other show. I can't even remember what the other show was. Right.
Okay.
And I told my agent, I listened to the Wicked music, and then I was reading up this other show. I was like, I don't even want to focus on that. But the other show was looking for a black 20-something girl, blah, 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 And Wicked was looking for a green 20-something girl, blah, blah, blah. I'm listening to it, and I said, I only had like a week to prepare. And I said to them, you know what? I want to just focus on this one thing. I know that this looks like it's going to be more of my type and more of a shoe. And I said, but, I remember I had my little Beetle at the time, one of those new Bugs.
They're very cute.
Yes. I was driving my VW and I was listening to Defying Gravity, and I was just like, something was going through me. I was like, nah, this one's going to be mine, man. And at the time, Adina was going out, and I guess they were trying to decide if they were going to bump Shoshana up or not. And they ended up flying me in to do a makeup test to just see how the green would look on me. And I did my makeup test, and I want to say a week or so later, I found out that I was going to be the standby. And so I came in, and I was at Wicked for about 3.5 years, I want to say, I think. Either 2.5, 3.5 years, something like that. And they all started to run together after a while. But that
well, you've been in so many of the wonderful big Broadway shows.
Yeah, no, I'm so thankful for it. But that time, Ben Vereen came in at that time.
Yeah, he sure did.
Ben Vereen came in.
I was going to say something about that.
I wish you could all see Ramin's face when she said Ben Vereen.
I'm doing this for my wife as well. That's her favorite.
Oh, did she love Ben Vereen?
Yeah.
Oh, he was standing on the side of the stage when I was singing, and he goes, Saykon, Saykon. He didn't say my name right. But we love Ben Vereen. And his dressing room smelled like incense.
It sure did.
He's so like special and magical, It was a blessing that I was able to do the show and rehearse and have all that time, and paid off my student loans. It was quite a blessing, that show.